Welcome back to our new live stream, Thursdays at 5:30. So I was thinking about it because before we were live at 5 on Mondays, and it kind of had a ring. So I thought about it yesterday, and we can be live and dirty at 5:30 because it's post-work. But I was kind of thinking that might not come across all that well. So we'll see, but I kind of liked it. So we're here in the office, and things are a little different. The shop's a little bit of a disaster. I've been planning for, I think, a couple years to put a new HVAC system in our office. So I finally started doing that, or I'm having a company do that. Bought the air handler unit, heat pump, air conditioning about 2 months ago, and they finally had time to start getting here and getting it put in. So we took it from in the office on the ground, and instead of wasting valuable floor space, I had them put it up. So there's our new air handling unit. They started running some new ducting. Clearly it's not done yet, so that's why the race car is not in its normal spot. We got ladders, stuff everywhere. So a little bit of shop maintenance or upgrades. So hopefully it works a little bit better because the old furnace was on its way out. It was probably older than I am. So looking forward to having that up and running. And a little bit of a bummer because we do have that class this weekend, and I like the showroom office to look on point when we have guests coming over, but not much I can do about it. So it's hot in here, even though Jamie doesn't agree with me. So we'll head out to the shop where it's quite a bit cooler. And if anybody is new to our live events, welcome. And this is a good time for you guys to ask us questions, comments, any of that stuff. Don't be afraid to ask stuff. Jamie will be reading them out loud for you guys that can't see I don't know if they can see the comments or not, but she'll be reading them out loud for you guys and for me.
And we've got one.
Yep.
Todd Englert, sorry, he says, been wanting to ask for a while, did you shoot the coyote, I'm guessing?
I don't know. Clarify a little bit, because it could be about the coyote and the MGA. Yeah, so.
And then we've got another one. Someone said, hey fellas, welcome back to the shop. And then someone else said they just joined, so hey, glad to have you.
Yep, and just make sure you're talking nice and loud so they can hear.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear as well.
Yep.
What this is about, we just do an overview of hopefully what you worked on this week and just what's going on at the shop.
Yep, yeah, it's just a recap of the week, and it gives you guys an opportunity to kind of connect with us and other people on the channel, ask questions, kind of networking. And it's really hard, like if you ask a question on a comment or on a video, I might not get the full context, or you might not get the answer you want because we don't have all the information. So this is a good way for you guys to ask questions. I can answer that to my best, the best that I can. And then if it doesn't quite answer it, you can ask to elaborate on X, Y, or Z. So it's just a good way for us to give back to the YouTube community and gives us a chance to connect with you and you to connect with us on a little bit more of a personal level than just in the comment section on our videos.
Yeah, someone said they can hear me loud and clear, so that's awesome.
Good.
Good, glad.
Yep, and we've had a lot of feedback from last week's video that the audio was really good, the video was really good, so that's awesome. Love the positive feedback. Glad we're getting everything figured out with kind of why things weren't working as well.
So Todd said, he meant to say, shoot, isn't there a coyote head mount in the showroom? Maybe I'm seeing things. Should we show them all your weird stuff?
Yeah, so no, I didn't shoot that coyote. I like to collect all kinds of weird stuff. So my buddy Jimmy in New Jersey, he also collects weird stuff. And we were up there, and he had this coyote, and it had been knocked over, and it only had 3 legs. So that's
coyote taxidermy.
Yeah.
I think you should click.
Yeah, the coyote taxidermy. So that is a 3-legged coyote.
We can't see that it's 3-legged.
Yeah, you can't see it. I've got the legs somewhere else.
Oh gosh. So was it not 3-legged when it
No,
was alive? It was a 4-legged coyote?
It was a 4-legged coyote, and somebody knocked it over and broke the leg off.
Okay.
So it's a 3-legged.
Post-mortem.
Yes. And then we have this really creepy fox that's kind of gross that I bought at Hershey.
Hey, Dennis. Dennis,
Yeah, welcome back, Dennis. And then we have a red squirrel that's giving you the finger, and he's holding a dead mouse.
Ooh.
And then we have my favorite creepy raccoon there.
He looks mean.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like him. And we got this little red fox that's super angry.
Hold on.
Yeah, so we got that guy. And then we have a black squirrel with a nut. And we have a jackalope.
Oh, well, they can see the squirrel. Sorry, guys, I'm a little short. And the light's a little...
Yeah, so I like old taxidermy and weird stuff. My friend has a cross-eyed bobcat taxidermy that I really want, but he's not come off of it yet. Yeah, back out here to where it's cold. So any other questions about anything other than weird taxidermy?
Todd said it's all cool.
Yep. So with the race car being here and the hood off, I got our lower intake ported and polished, the upper plenum on, the O-ring put in it, the ring dowels pressed in, everything's ready, and I got the carburetors the other day. So getting ready to pull the intake off, do the valves, and get the new intake, carburetors, all that stuff going on so I can get the throttle linkage, fuel lines, all that stuff figured out. So I'll show you guys that here in a minute because that's over on the workbench. I remembered today to bring it out of the back room, bring it up, put it in the main shop so we don't lose Wi-Fi when I show it to you.
Okay. Dennis said, what, the squirrel? The shop squirrel? Basically.
Well, not the one that bit me. That was a different one.
Yeah, it's a different one. The one that bit you, hopefully still alive and
peanut
thriving.
butter. Yeah, peanut butter the squirrel is outside, and he bit me, but my finger is finally healed up, and apparently I don't have rabies.
Ray Cole said, welcome. Just got in. Traffic on the south side is rough with cicadas. We can hear them in the building, so I don't know if you guys will be able to hear them.
When the air conditioner kicks off, you might be able to hear them buzzing outside.
Phil says, whatever happened after the squirrel bite? Oh, was there a rabies shot that followed? Yeah. So
no rabies shot. I had to get a tetanus shot and another shot and 10 days of two or three different antibiotics. And apparently I don't have rabies, so I guess I'm good. I haven't seen any dead rabid squirrels outside, so I think I'm in the clear.
Someone asked, they saw that you sold the Daytona.
Yep, sold the Daytona to Nick at Catskill Metal. Catskill, I don't know.
Mountain Customs.
Yeah, Catskill Mountain Customs. Nick up there, he came down a couple weeks ago, picked it up, and drove it home.
And they're asking if it was a Super Performance.
It was a Factory 5.
Ray Cole said the cicadas are loud at the hotel.
Yeah.
So MC1984 is the one who asked a couple questions about the Daytona, and then they said great layout on the flathead. And then Phil says the new induction system is sexy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you guys will see that here in a minute. And the interesting thing is Ray Cole is talking about the cicadas in the hotel. Ray is coming to the class this weekend.
That's what I figured.
So on that note, we had another cancellation for the class this weekend, which is tomorrow night and Saturday. I know it's short notice, but if anybody was on the fence and you're somewhat close and you want to take the class, this is your shot because we had cancellation. He got sick, can't make it. So we have one open spot. If anybody wants to come, just hit me up and we'll make that happen. But it is tomorrow night and Saturday. So again, it's super short notice. So not sure if anybody will be able to fill that spot, but it's awesome that Ray is in town. I'm guessing he's a few miles down the street at the Holiday Inn maybe. Okay. And so he'll be here tomorrow.
Dalton White said he's an hour and a half from the hotel, excited for the class this weekend. And Phil says, oh man, he would have loved to have made it to the class, I'm guessing.
Well, there's still time. I mean, it's only, it's about 12 hours from where you live. So if you get on the road now, you'll be here in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to show?
Yep. We will do the intake and stuff first. And got a new shipment of 2x4 120 wall in. So there's 30 fresh sticks for upcoming frame rail jobs. So if anybody needs any tubing bent, I have plenty in stock, ready to roll. Here's the new setup for the flathead. So it's a Tom Roberts lower intake, and I smoothed everything out, did a port and polish. I'll tilt that up. Hopefully you can see it. Ported and polished everything, gasket matched it, and it's got about 120 grit scratch pattern inside the runners, so the fuel doesn't stick and pool. It still keeps it a little turbulent. And then I came up with the basic design for the top of the plenum. So we cubic matched our plenum to the cubic inch of our engine. So I had to custom make that. And then it takes 2 Holley 390 4-barrels. So I still have to take our choke plates off and the electric choke mechanism. And then I'm going to take these little rubber fitting pieces off and get AN banjo fittings. And yeah, so we're almost ready to start getting this thing fit up.
Okay.
So a lot different looking than the 3.2s. So it's, hopefully it makes some more power. If not, I'm going to be really disappointed. For the time, effort, and money that's gone into it, hopefully it makes more power.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see.
I feel like I need to get you next to it, like
Yeah.
a fish or something.
Yeah, and then we've got I don't know if you'll be able to see it because you're all the way over there now, but we had it engraved with our logo since it's the only one in existence.
I kind of see it.
Yeah.
Ray Colson trade off with the wife genealogy Friday morning for her and a class for him this weekend.
Nice.
That's how you do it.
That's right. Yep, and then we had a fallen soldier the other day, so I broke one of the ball ends on one of the mandrels. So I've got those on order and they're custom made, so man down. But,
Andrew Baker says, did you give a height for that custom intake manifold to fit under the hood?
no, we're gonna have to cut a hole in the hood. So that's kind of the problem is there's nothing we could do, even if it didn't have this plenum, the upper plenum on it, if it was just a flat plate across, it still wouldn't have fit. So I'm either gonna just have to cut a hole in the hood and make a new scoop for it, or make a new hood with the cutout and then put the scoop on it.
So you figure you might as well make it the way you want it. Because
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and to me, it's more important to make power than it is to fit under the stock hood when I can just make a new hood if need be. I doubt we'll have time to get it made and painted before Bonneville. If I get it made, we'll just run it raw aluminum for this season and then get it painted this winter.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. Someone said, just make it. It's like, yep, exactly.
Yep, that's right. So I whipped this thing up. This is a go, no-go test fixture for one of our production parts for 2x4 easy way bending. So I had to break out the mud gun and MIG weld everything just because I didn't feel like TIG welding it. So just a quick and dirty fixture. Once we bend it, we drop it in there, and as long as it comes in and makes contact here and with every one of these risers, we know it works. And we put the front edge, it butts up against here, and that's how we index it forward. So this will be nice when we go into production for this company. They'll want 40 to 80 units a month. So every 5 to 10 pieces, pull out of the bender and just ensure that our bend quality is still good. And that's similar to the big fixture table for another production part we make. So got that whipped up. And then I think yesterday, I bent, these are frame rails for a 58 Chevy Apache pickup truck. So these are in 2x4 120 wall, and they're going to, I think, no, not Texas, maybe Arizona.
These are really long.
Yep.
How long are these?
200, I can give you the overall. The cut length was 218 inches. So, yeah, just a 58 pickup truck. So, I mean, you have to think the front axle would be there and then in the back, and then you've got everything in the front. And there's a little bit of extra. I always leave a few inches to clamp in the machine, and that way you can move it if need be.
Todd said, you have a lot of talent to say. I'll just build a new hood. Guess that's why I watch you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, you have to take into account, too, that I built the car, the nose, the hood, everything once before. And I'm not really scared to cut up what's there, other than the fact that it's got some cool pinstriping on it that Josh did for me. And I just hate to cut that out. So the hood is actually one of the easier pieces on the modified Roadster to make. So as long as I have the time to do it, I'll whip up a new hood.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I think, is
coming up with the time.
the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask, no one asked this, but me, is the Mack truck vendors, keeping the bucks? Or?
He's eventually going to.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the owner of the Mack truck fenders. They're his bucks. He's waiting to see if he needs more made, and then eventually, if he doesn't, I'll ship them to him.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. So they're just sitting and waiting to see if he needs more fenders made. Yep, so I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to stack all this stuff up, and it's gonna go over there on the shelf, which is really fun to have to do by hand, just because the shop is so packed with stuff that I can't pick it up with the forklift and maneuver it through. So
Yeah, I was gonna say the forklift doesn't fit right.
no,
through
no. So I get them that close, and then I pick them up one at a time, and
Get your workout in.
yeah, toss them on the shelf.
Toss.
Yeah, toss.
It's a little liberal.
Yeah.
Phil said the old one will make a beautiful wall hanger. I think he's talking about the Mack truck fender.
Or the hood.
Or the hood.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Either way.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, I'm just going to cut it up. I'm going to cut the blister out of the middle and make it work. And then I took it off yesterday. And I'm like, man, this thing's painted so nice, and I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we could do a tour of what's all up in the.
oh yeah, we've got lots of stuff in the rafters.
I know, 'cause
That might be a different video.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Yep, and
Phil said the hood. You were right. I was wrong.
yep. In the last week we talked about the 3334 roof insert. I had it cut and laid over there. So I shaped that yesterday morning. So all I need to do is run over it with a DA and a Scotch-Brite, and I can get this one shipped off to New York. So it's done, ready to roll. And if you guys follow me on Facebook and Instagram, we'll do the 51 convertible next. And if you don't follow me, you probably should, or on TikTok, because the TikTok content of everybody complaining about what I do is going to get really good. So I've been keeping track of all the hater comments for the coffee table book of all the haters that's going to come out hopefully maybe next year. I just got to keep piling that up so we get a nice thick coffee table book for your guys' enjoyment. So I've been posting some of those screenshots over on TikTok just for fun. So if you've been, go ahead.
Oh, so Andrew wants to know. Oh, we got two questions. Sorry. What year's the Mack you built the fender for? Is the Mack truck?
The Mack truck fenders were a 1946 chain drive. I don't remember the model number. I could look it up, but it was one of the last chain drives, 1946 Mack.
Okay, and then Andrew Baker wants to know what platform do you update the most?
Which platform?
Like social media, like.
Usually Facebook and Instagram. Those platforms are updated more, just because it literally takes 30 seconds. I can do it from my phone. I don't have a lot of editing, but I try not to. I don't post the same content at the same time on both. So like I'll post, we'll just say a reel on Facebook, and then I'll do a couple pictures of something different on Instagram and vice versa. I try to mix it up so it's not posting the same thing on the same platform. Mix it up.
Yeah.
So if you've been following along, especially on Facebook, because it's a cesspool of negativity, you guys have seen where I was working on getting this dialed in using a little contour gauge I made to check the radius. And yeah, compared it over here. So there's a blue dot.
Stay still. Let me.
Yeah. So there's a blue dot there. And if I line that up on the edge to the blue dot, that gives me a basic idea. And this, I'm not worried about this edge because I haven't turned the edge down. And you can see up here, we still have a 1/2 inch of excess that's going to be turned into the trunk. And over here, I've planished off our blue dot, but it's 22 inches off of the ground. So it's approximately here somewhere. So about there, you know, you can see that I'll just say approximately there. There's a little bit of a gap. You know, I'm not trying to hide much, but you're still talking less than a 1/16 of an inch. So still dialing this panel in and continued working on this piece today, which this is a really tricky piece because you can see here I've got my thumbnail shrink marks. So it gets thumbnail shrink up to get the 4-inch radius, and then it gets a little bit of shrink over, and then it gets a little bit of a linear stretch at the edge to reverse it. So there's a lot of funky shapes going on. And then you get this long valley with a little bit of reverse at the outside edge. And then shrinking around here to pull everything around. So this is a really tricky piece because there's multiple reverses, multiple compound shapes, everything flowing together, and a bunch of form that kind of culminates. So I'd much rather do these little reverse pieces where it's just a reverse, not a lot of compound going into it. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to make this piece, which is here. So it's already laid out. So all of these markings here for our linear stretch will allow that panel to fall into this area here. So I'll start on that tomorrow. I don't know how far I'll get, but excited that it's actually looking like something.
Yeah.
So that's about where we're at, because I had a bunch of other frame rails I bent last week, and then I've been trying not to make a bunch of noise while the guys are here doing the HVAC system, just trying to be courteous. Yep.
Okay, good, Phil. I figured it was on your end, but glad you're back with us. You got skipped to the beginning somehow. And came
Okay.
back, so.
Yep.
So. Like, hopefully I didn't touch anything and mess anything up. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything on our calendar is getting marked off. The roof insert, it's not scratched off yet because it's not completely finished. And I've got car crafter rails those are the 58 Apache. They're not crossed off because they're not bundled to a skid yet. So, yeah. And the antique auto Jaguar fender repair, no call, no show. So just working on other stuff, which kind of works out. And then before we leave for California next week, I've got 2 sets of frame rails I have to get done that are going to head to Idaho. So those are going to be 2x4 188 wall, and that material should be here in the morning. So I might just come in Sunday evening, or depending on how the class goes, stick around late and just knock those things out so we can get them out the door Monday. Just want to get them shipped before we head to California. Yeah, so that's all I was going to ramble about, just normal week stuff. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Until we get those questions, we did have a visitor that likes to chime in on live stuff. So I don't know if he's watching or not, but it is Lee Luce and his girlfriend Kim from Australia. They've been over here in the States traveling around, so they stopped by for a while yesterday. Got to hang out with them in the shop for about 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, it was awesome having him here. I don't know if he's watching or not. They're going to the Hot Rod reunion in Bowling Green, so they might still be on the road. But
yeah, and they brought us Tim Tams.
Yep, they've got Tim Tams, and we got some Minties. Yeah,
I haven't had one yet.
Yeah, got Minties and a few other things.
Ray Cole said, "How wild was the Brian Fuller build?"
It was different. I don't know, it was fine. I'm not big on like TV type stuff and that side of it. I was just there to work. So I mean, it was really good getting to work with Brian and Chip and all the other guys involved. I mean, there were 25 of us. So it was pretty interesting. We didn't work as much as I thought we were going to work. Like I figured it'd be like a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. kind of thing. It was just more structured.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say sometimes you overwork, I think.
Yeah.
You work harder than most, or maybe not harder, but like longer. And
yeah.
Being self-employed, I think you're just used to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was really interesting. I was glad to be a part of it. It was just not my normal kind of thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it again in the future, but there's just a lot that goes along with it. Like group dinners and going to dinner for 3 hours. It's just stuff that I usually don't do because I'm busy working.
Yeah. And we have someone said, Cybertruck new version. And then Andrew Baker said, what changes are you making to the El Mirage car before the next race?
So we have to get to California first.
Yeah.
So we're flying out Thursday morning, and I'm going to take Jamie around and show her my normal haunts because she's never been to California with me. So
yeah, I thought you were going to say California. I'm like, I've been there, but I'm also making you take me to the beach.
Yep. So we're going to go to Huntington and do some stuff that Jamie wants to do before we go to the lake bed and roast. But we are going to add a little bit more tow just to see if it stabilizes the car a little bit more. I've talked to a bunch more people and watched the videos dozens of times, and everybody keeps saying they think it was a course issue, not necessarily a car setup or a me issue. So I'm going to add, we got an 1/8 inch of tow, and being on the dirt at those speeds, I'm thinking it's just not enough. So we're going to add a little bit more, get about 3/8 of an inch of tow in. If we can, I want to put more caster in it, so we're going to just do a front end alignment on it and maybe see if we can add some weight. It's just going to be tough at the lake bed without having a way to get the car up in the air, like on a lift versus just jack stands. So we're going to do that kind of stuff and then just see what the car wants. I'm hoping just caster and tow will be really beneficial. But it's only a one-day meet, so we might get one, maybe 2 runs. So yeah, I don't want to change too many things at once. I'm a one setting kind of guy, and we'll change one thing for the next run. That way we don't change 10 things and we don't know which affected it positively or negatively.
Yeah. Noel said, hi.
Yep, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I have been working on some of the exhaust stuff on the Roadster, which I'm not, visually, I don't like it, but I still don't know if it's going to make power or not. Flatheads don't breathe very well. They don't scavenge well, just because they have a common shared center port. So they don't always follow the same rules as normal race engines. So my thought when I built the car was it just had little extensions that came out to get the exhaust out. You know, we're not worried about back pressure. We're not worried about scavenging because it doesn't do that very well to begin with. But a couple people argued that I needed a turnout, bring everything together, and then using Bernoulli's principle, we go from a high volume, low pressure, and we neck that down to get a higher pressure. And as it exits, it goes back into low pressure and creates that low pressure zone, and it will help pull the exhaust out, just like on a rocket engine. So I've got this one made and the pieces for the other one. I just really kind of hate the way it looks. But if it makes power, it makes power. So our plan is, at Bonneville, we'll do one run with them. And then whatever time of day that is, the next day, we will do another run with or without them. So we're just going to see if it makes power or not. And we're going to use the same driver, same amount of gas. All the settings will be the same, other than we'll just put the collector and turnout on and see what the numbers say. That'll give us, I feel, a very honest representation if it makes power. And there might be a variation of a couple mile an hour, but I think if we see more than 5, we'll know it makes power. Less than 5, I don't know if it's worth it. Because my thought is the amount of power we might gain from those, we might also lose from the drag that it's going to cause. So I think it's going to be a wash, but we'll just have to see what the salt tells us.
Yeah. MC 1984 says, speaking of California and land speed racing, are you friends with the guys at Maxwell Industries?
I wouldn't say we're not. I know them. I teched Speed Demon in the past. I haven't been out to Steve Watt's place. I've talked to Steve at Bonneville, but just in that sense of doing tech on their cars. So I don't want it to sound like we're not friendly, but I wouldn't say we're friends.
Yeah, you're not like calling each other on the weekend.
Yeah, we're not out getting mani-pedis.
Yeah, not rating each other.
But Tom, who is my crew chief, he knows Steve Watt pretty well. He's been over to his shop a couple times. I'd like to check Steve's place out, but I'm also not the kind of guy that just drops in people's shops, because I know how that is here. So I wouldn't just show up. It would have to be him inviting me over sometime and then making sure that it doesn't interfere with their day-to-day operations.
Yeah. Skid Mark's Garage says, build a sleeve to slip over the V-shaped collector.
That's what this is. So this just slips on, and it will. I'm going to hold it in with bolts. Yep. It just visually, I don't like the tube sticking out of the car. But again, if it makes power, it makes power.
Yeah, it doesn't appeal to your creative side.
Yeah, it sticks out like a sore thumb because it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah. So yeah, get those questions in, because the new schedule is going to be 5:30 to 6 unless we get a bunch of questions. So it's about 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if we don't have any questions, we're going to start wrapping things up. But we'll stay around as long as we have questions that you guys want answered. So again, this is a good time for you guys to kind of connect with us, whether it be me or Jamie, about stuff we've been working on, stuff you've been working on. If you have any questions on any processes, machines, any of that stuff, we can go over it at this time.
MC1984 says, how much does that Roadster weigh?
Right now, in its current weight, I think it is at 3,200 pounds. And the CP and the CG are balanced really well, and we're not putting down a ton of power. So I think everything's pretty good. It's super stable at speed. Again, this one's not very fast. It's been 146. We're hoping to go maybe 155 this year. We'll just have to see what the new intake and carburetors do and our turnout. It'd be nice if we could do that. My thought, as long as we're constantly improving with every season, that's all I want. I don't want to take any steps backwards. I think after this season, we're going to have to rebuild the engine, though. It's not hurt, but this will be our third or fourth season with the engine, and we've made a lot of dyno pulls and a lot of pulls at Bonneville. I think last year we did like 14 runs.
Ton.
Yeah, there's like 14 runs at Bonneville. So 14 runs at 5,000 RPM over 3 miles. It's putting some wear on it. So I think after the season we'll have to pull the engine out and rebuild it.
Yeah. Rap Game said hi.
Yep, welcome. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, we'll give them a few more minutes while I just kind of banter about everything else. So let us know in the comment section if you want us to do a live next week, because we will be in California, so I don't know what we're going to be doing. It might be us just sitting on a park bench at the beach, but we can answer questions, do that kind of stuff, talk about our trip. We were talking yesterday with Lee and Kim about the trip to Australia in October. So I'm going to try to document as much of that stuff as I can. I might have to recruit somebody. If there's anybody from Sydney watching that wants to help out with that, let me know, because Jamie's going to be there for about a week, and then I'll probably be there for 3 weeks by myself. So I won't be able to film everything that I'm doing.
Got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Andrew Baker wants to know how much better the 2 Hollies will be over the 3 Deuces.
They should be a lot better. I wish I didn't have the plenum bolted on. So the biggest thing is our CFM is going to be higher, our fuel delivery is going to be higher, and where the carburetors are located. So that new intake, it's essentially like a tunnel ram, but inside the plenum. So the runners are all equal length, kind of like that, and it comes up inside that plenum, and it has a really nice entrance into the runners, and they put them, everything's equal length and equal spaced, and then the 4-barrel sits directly on top of where those runners are located. So we could have ran like a 350 to a 390 2-barrel instead of 4 barrels, but we figured if the CFM's the same, then we'll get 1 nozzle or venturi per cylinder, and it should atomize better as it comes in. So do I know if it's going to make more power? No. But the theory behind it is it should. You know, we've got brand new technology of the Holley 4 barrels versus the 2 barrels. So we'll just kind of have to see. I don't really know, but I think the intake's better, the volume's better, the design's better, so it should make better power.
Ray wants to know which generation the flathead motor.
I forget what year it is. It's like a 40, I think it's a 48. Yeah.
And Terry Howe wants to know, how would you form a U-shaped grill bar that is only 1/2 inch wide, that is radiused? It's for a 37 International pickup, and thanks for all the videos.
I'm guessing the grill bar would be a U-shape. I would take a piece of plywood that's the same width, and we'll just say that this is your plywood standing up vertical. Cut it to the profile you need here, and then make that a hammer form. And then you can clamp your flat plate to it and hammer it over, or you can bend it into a U-shape in a sheet metal brake and then use it to hammer over as well. So there's a couple options, but I would do it as a hammer form one way or the other.
And then Noel wants to know, did you do a metal shading class with Sosa the better part of 10 years ago? I thought you did.
Well, I didn't do one at Christian's place, and Christian's not done one here. We've done a bunch of classes together at Bailey.
Yeah, he said just with, so.
Yeah. So it's because Christian does his own classes too, but we haven't done one of those. It's always been with Bailey. I wouldn't say 10 years ago. That's been close.
I was gonna say I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, because we started working with Christian at SEMA in 2016. We did the Shelby Daytona live event at SEMA, and I think Christian was there doing demos, and it was me, Kyle, Austin, and we did some live at SEMA metal shaping classes. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it has been about 10 years.
Yeah, I think so. Terry Howell says thank you, and then Todd says it makes sense to me that 2 4s work better than 3 2s, and he said he's always said that, and that took me a minute to understand and read that out loud.
Yeah, and like, because I was talking to Kiwi, and when we were trying to figure out the carburetors, he's like, so if you have to suck down the same volume of a liquid, I mean, we'll just look at air as a liquid because it is a fluid, if you look at fluid dynamics, would you rather suck the same CFM down in 2 straws or 4 straws? And the CFM should be the CFM, but I think the actual flow, how it will come through and atomize the fuel and air ratio, I think it'll be better through 4 barrels. I could be totally wrong, I don't know, but the theory sounds good.
Okay, we got a few more. Someone said Free Palestine. Someone else said hello. Where are we from? So we're on the east side of Cincinnati.
Yep, yeah, Cincinnati's the easiest, but we're in Milford, Ohio, so Cincinnati has the 275 loop. We're kind of on the northeast side, right off of that loop.
And then someone says, if someone knows where to get files to replicate car from nothing.
Yeah, so there's a really trick way you can do that. I can't remember the company name, but there is a company that they 3D scan cars and then they shrink them down into video game models. And you can buy those files of that car for your own video game. I think it's a few $100, and then you can scale it back up. And then you put it into a puzzle making software, and it segments it into stations for your buck. That's how the Daytona buck was made.
Cool.
Kyle originally bought a Shelby Daytona scan from whatever that video game software company was and blew it back up to the right wheelbase. So that's a really good place that you can get affordable 3D models of existing cars.
Because they probably have them already.
Yeah, I mean, they've spent millions of dollars scanning this stuff for video games.
Yeah.
And then you can just buy the file. I wish I could remember the name of that company, but I'm sure if you Google video game 3D scan files, it'll probably bring something up.
Noel, who asked about the class with Sosa, said he thought you looked familiar. Time flies, for sure.
Yeah.
Someone asked if you just a car engineer, ? So
Not really.
yeah.
I mean, I design and make stuff. I wouldn't really call myself an engineer because I don't drive trains, but I'm a problem solver. So everything about race cars and sheet metal shaping and chassis design is just a problem. And I find solutions that work for me. So again, I wouldn't say an engineer. I didn't go to college. I have no background other than 20 plus years of building stuff experience.
Yeah. The person who asked about the file said thank you. And then the same person who asked if you were a car engineer said hello, dear.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, well, I guess we're going to start wrapping it up because I'm going to take Jamie to dinner for working so hard filming.
Yes.
So if you got any last minute questions, now's the time to get those in. If not, you'll have to wait till next week or maybe the following week. But we working on restocking a bunch of stuff. We got our standard radius gauges back in stock. So those are on the web store. Corking tools, well, we're working on getting the coining tools put back in stock. We're just constantly working with our machinist to get everything made and restocked. And I've got some new tools coming out, so stay tuned for that. If you want to get updates on that kind of stuff once a month, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. You can go to Cornfield Customs Ltd.store and a little pop-up will come up. You can sign up for the newsletter. It's not spammy. You get it once a month, and it just gives you updates on what's going on in the shop, traveling plans, races, new product alert. We do a reader's ride, so you can submit your own project, and we will throw that in the newsletter. It's a great way to connect with what we're doing here in the shop and others in the industry. So make sure to sign up for that.
So Phil's got to go. Thanks for stopping in, Phil. And he said he votes for next Thursday live.
Okay.
Dennis said thanks. Thanks, Dennis, for always joining.
Yep. And I see you, Dennis. I see you in the comment section on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. I don't always comment back, but I see you.
Burton said, shoot, missed it.
Well, you didn't miss it yet. We're still here. So if
Yeah.
you've got any questions that you want answered live, now's a good time.
Yeah, and the live will be on your YouTube too.
Yep. Yeah. So
once it's done.
yeah, once we're done, give it about 10 minutes, and you can watch it from the beginning.
And Todd, I'm with you, Todd. He said, "Don't take me to White Castles. I deserve better." Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, but sometimes I do like White Castles. It depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah.
Someone else said they're an auto electrician, and then someone else said, "What's for dinner?" And are you taking me in the old truck? Probably not. Probably my car because somebody likes air conditioning.
Yeah. I don't deal well in the heat, and it's kind of hot and humid here. So probably not.
Yeah. Razor Sharp says, what do you do when you scuff up the metal while working it?
I mean, I'm not too worried about it just because everything kind of gets worked. So it burnishes it, it gets scratches. So when something's done, I DA it with 80 grit and then finish it up with a red Scotch-Brite on a DA before anything leaves. So I'm not that I'm not careful, but scratches and scuffs are going to happen. I just usually clean that up at the end.
He said thank you for that. So appreciated.
Cool. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. So make sure to check out the newsletter. I guess we're going to do one next week in California, and we'll try to do some updates, some shorts, maybe some longer format stuff while we're at El Mirage. We'll just have to see how racing goes and the drive home. Make sure if you're not following on Facebook and Instagram, check that out. It's Cornfield Customs on everything, to where you get almost daily updates, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what's going on. Yeah, so I want to thank you guys so much for checking out our live events. The positive feedback has been really good with getting the audio figured out and the Wi-Fi issue figured out. So thanks for being patient and sticking around with that and not hating it too much. I'm hoping here in a few weeks, when things slow down a little bit, to get back on longer format content. So just a lot going on right now, and we're trying to slowly reintegrate back into that. But we will continue the lives and the short updates. So yeah, any last minute questions? Are we all wrapped up?
I think we're all wrapped up. You answered one. Someone asked what your Facebook was, and you did that. And then Burton said, love to see some pit content from El Mirage, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks. And one cool thing is we are working with Jeff Norwell to get some new summer artwork done. It's going to have the MGA on it. So we're going to have stickers, t-shirts, and posters coming out as soon as Jeff is wrapped up with the artwork. And I'll probably post teaser shots to that in the newsletter. So in the newsletter people, you'll get, once you're a subscriber on the newsletter, when we get t-shirts or we'll do a pre-order, you'll get an email for that. So you get first shot at ordering t-shirts before anybody else. So if you want early access to that kind of stuff, the newsletter is where you're going to get that.
And also, if someone subscribes to your Instagram, they get Sunday questions too.
Yep. Yeah. So if you subscribe to like a Instagram subscriber, it's $1 a month, and you get access to private question and answer every Sunday. So you pay $1 a month. You can ask me as many questions as you want on Sunday, and I do my best to answer those as in depth as I can within the limits of Instagram. So you get access to that, and I think you get 10% off on the store as well.
Yeah.
So.
And then Razor Sharp said, from all of us, they're grateful for your donated time to teach. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. And that's really one thing I want to kind of get across with this channel, is I've seen people who start out a YouTube and it starts off trying to be educational, and then they get into the skits and the jokes, and it turns into not educational anymore. I'd rather have less subscribers, but have the genuine content of what I want to get out. You know, I'm not doing it for views. I'm not doing it for income. That stuff is beneficial and it's very helpful, but I want to get good, solid information and content out to you guys who are wanting to better your skill set. So I'm always going to stick to the educational stuff. I'm not going to do goofy stuff and skits and bits. That's not what I am, and that's not what you guys will get here. I just want to give you good information so everybody can better their skill set and be the best craftsman they can. So Any more questions? Or are we out?
Last one, someone just said thanks for the live feed.
Yeah,
So I think
thanks for
that's
tuning in. I guess we're going to go to dinner.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Make sure to check out some of our other great videos, whether it be metal shaping tips and tricks, tube bending, any of that stuff. I have tons of videos on here from all throughout the shop over the years. So make sure to check that out. We will continue doing what we're doing. And again, thank you guys so much for checking out this live. And we will catch you next week at Live and Dirty at 5:30. See you guys
All right, see
later.
ya. Bye.